Was it really that bad? Yo, certain people. Okay, so today I want to talk a little bit about Kevin Hart's latest special, Zero Beeps Given, which I watched last night, watched it, and I thought, it was alright. I laughed a little bit in some places, laughed a lot in some other places, and overall I just thought it was a pretty decent stand-up performance for the, I think, hour, 10 minutes that it lasted. I thought it was just okay, and that's pretty much it, really. That was it. But then I go on Twitter today and I see his name trend, see Kevin Hart's name trending, so I click on it to see what's trending about, and it turns out people hated it. People hated his stand-up. They really hated it. They was saying it was terrible, that they watched it for 7 minutes, turned it off, and they really hated it. And I'm like, damn, was it really that bad? I thought it was okay. Was it really that bad? And here's the thing, of course, people are gonna like different things, right? What I think is funny, you might not think is funny, and vice versa and so on, and that's totally fine. And I'm never gonna be the one to try and tell people what they should and shouldn't like. But one comment caught my attention where it said that, he joked about his privilege, the fact that he's rich and he can do things like that. And I actually thought that was one of the good points of the stand-up, is that he talked about these things, and he talked about the fact that he doesn't live a regular life. Kevin Hart probably hasn't lived a regular life for a long time now. He's been wildly successful comedian, actor, and various other things for a good minute now. So the fact that he lives a life that most of us don't should not be a surprise. And if he could find humor in that, then hey, go for it. But I actually thought it was a good thing. I thought it was good that he did talk about these things, the fact that he does private jets and calls ahead at, I think it was Disneyland or some theme park, and gets his kids to the front of the line, and that's stuff that, in fairness, we can't relate to. At least I say we, I mean me. Really, I don't know who's watching this, but I imagine a lot of us can't relate to. But at the same time, it's his life. He talks about his life. What do you want him to do? Talk about things that he doesn't do just because that's what everyone else goes through, and then he's making references to things that he doesn't really live, because that's just disingenuous. And I think as an artist, first and foremost, you got to be honest with yourself, and you're going to be genuine to yourself, and that sometimes mean that you do things that not everybody else gets. That's one of the things about art, is that you could either be super relatable to everybody, but then you might not be being really genuine to yourself, or you could be genuine to super genuine to yourself, but then you might not be relatable to everybody. And trying to find that balance is always going to be a difficult thing to do at times. But sometimes you go with being super relatable, sometimes you go with, say, I just need to be genuine. And the fact that the stand-up is called Zero Fucks Given, he clearly, at least from the title, it's like, I don't care about this whole thing. I just need to be myself. I need to talk about the things that I'm going through. I need to talk about the life that I'm living. I need to talk about whether it's family or his dreams, his aspirations, his ups, his downs. And even if that means that people can't relate to it, so be it. So be it. And so for me, I was like, okay, cool. This is something that I don't want to say he's the first, but I'm sure he's not the first, but certainly something that you don't see a lot of in stand-up, because in comedy, oftentimes it is about being relatable, because that's how you get the biggest laughs. But other times, you just gotta be yourself, and if that means people don't get the jokes or people can't relate to the jokes, it just is what it is. Art over everything. Well, not everything, not everything. But what I'm trying to say is that in creativity, there's always choices to be made, and some of those choices mean that you aren't always going to be as popular as some other choices that you make. But if it means that you're being genuine to yourself, then yeah, I'd always support that. Being genuine to yourself as an artist is one of the most important things to do. And especially I think when you get to the level of someone like Kevin Hart, when you start to get famous, super famous and that kind of stuff, where you kind of build up an audience, you can get your creativity out to vastly more people than most other comedians coming up. So whereas everyone else is like, I'm trying to make a name for myself, I'm trying to book shows, I'm trying to do this, he's in a place where it's like, come to my house. Just come to my house. By the way, was that really in his house? I don't know. I'm thinking, like, would you really invite a bunch of strangers into your set? I'm assuming they're strangers anyway. Maybe they're all friends of his. I don't know, but I'm assuming they're strangers. And would you really just invite a bunch of strangers into your house and you charge, you know, an entry fee for tickets? I don't know if that was his house or whether that was a studio designed to look like a house. That's what I'm thinking. It probably was a studio that was designed to look like his house. But in any case, it was a good set design if it was a studio. But if it was his house, then boy, I hope you vetted those people before they came. They don't like your comedy. They know where you live. That might not be a good combination. But yeah, you know, I liked it. I thought it was okay. You know, like I said, I laughed a bit in some places, laughed a lot in some other places. I liked what he did with it. I liked that he tried something different, or, you know, at least just tried to do something that, you know, wasn't the typical thing that comedians do. And yeah, I guess it didn't hit with everybody, and that's just part of it, you know, it's just part of how these things go. But let me know what you thought of the stand-up. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was you somewhere in the middle? Did you like what he did with the relatability elements of it and the fact that he was talking more about his privilege and that sort of thing? Or did you think, nah, this is ass, man, this is ass? But yeah, drop any suggestions or recommendations of videos you'd like to see in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, because we're about to do this thing, you get me, fam? But till whenever, if ever, peace.